Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for being here once again. And I just want to use this opportunity to give you a little bit of an insight into what our feminine moon flow, holistic yoga, and Ayurveda immersion is about. Basically, being woman is a privilege. Our menstrual cycle is a privilege, and yet it is not recognized as such in the society we are living right now. We are moving out a few thousand years of patriarchal living where everything got masculinized, good word, and we got really distracted and ripped out of the feminine cycles of life. If you're familiar with my work, or if you're familiar with Ayurveda or any earth-based medicine or spirituality or modality, you will know as well as I do that life is cyclic. Life is not linear. Everything is based on cycles, be it the cycles of the moon that are moving the tides, be it the cycles of the seasons, be it the cycles of our own lifetimes, be it the cycles of a day. In fact, science has finally caught up to the fact that we are cyclic beings living in a cyclic environment, and there now is a stream of science that is called what is it called? It's about your circadian rhythms, and it is called, oh my goodness, that is really bad. I just lost the word for it. It is called chronology. Chronobiology. So like chronological biology. There we go. As you can see, I use science only to back what I already know through the more soft, feminine, cyclic, Eastern medicine, ancient wisdom kind of way. But finally, our Western science has caught up to that knowledge as well. And chronobiology is concerned with the acknowledgement of that the same organs in our body and aspects in our body have a different task and different function at different times of the day, which means that they respond to what is called the circadian rhythms of nature, of our direct environment. And if we still remember that or not, with all our technological advancements and what have you that we're going through these days, we are no matter how advanced we as the human species are a part of nature. And no one gets to experience that so immensely and face to face and right in their bodies every month as women do. And totally undervalued is the process of our menstruation, which is sacred. It is a sacred act of purification, renewal, and cleansing every month. As another fact, also according to Ayurveda, our reproductive system, actually any imbalances, any symptoms we encounter in our reproductive system, give us an insight as to what is off balance or imbalance in the other aspects of our body, leading down through the other layers of tissue and other layers of organ systems, right? And yes, while that goes the same for men as well, women have a way more obvious indication of all that through our monthly cycles. In fact, our hormones are different. Our hormone levels are completely different every week of the month, which basically means that you're 25% different to the previous week in each of those 4 weeks of the month, each of those 4 weeks of your cycle, which means that it is absolutely unnatural for us as women to show up the same every day. It's not natural. It's impossible. If you're really in sync with your body, you will know that. Given that our biochemistry is so different every week of the month because we are cyclic. Whereas men are cyclic in their own way, but overall they are a bit more linear when it comes to biochemical things going on in their body, hormone levels and so forth. So the intention of the feminine moon flow immersion is that we will be moving with the moon cycles, drawing from the ancient earth-based wisdom of Ayurveda, which is the wisdom of longevity, the science of life, and yoga, which both are concerned with accessing the full human potential. And it will serve us in a way that helps us to really sink back to recognizing and hearing our body signs and symptoms and syncing back to our own natural cycles. And the more we can do that, the more we achieve ease and flow at any day of our month. If you are a menstruating woman, this is definitely for you. If you are a not menstruating woman, you are still corresponding to those natural cycles throughout the month that just show themselves differently within you. However, one thing about periods for menstruating women, or maybe if you're not menstruating anymore, this is relevant for your daughter. In fact, any symptoms we experience so commonly associated with our periods are not normal. They are common, but not normal. A normal period does not bring pain. It might bring a slight level of discomfort that shows you, hey, I'm coming. There's changes going on within here, within your womb, but there's no pain, there's no moods, there's no breakouts, there's no water retention, there's no headaches, there's no all these symptoms we so commonly experience. Yet it is so common in the world we're living in these days that we absolutely normalize it and start to kind of fight and getting attitude towards our period. And when that happens, we start to work against our body instead of with it. And when we do that, we're trying to fight against the flow, against the stream, and everything we're trying to achieve seems hard, right? Because we're not in flow, we're not in sync. So this is the intention of this immersion, to sync you right back up, familiarize yourself with and befriend your own natural feminine cycles. And we're going to go through, I could keep talking on this for hours because I'm very passionate about it, but essentially, back in the day when we weren't influenced by so much artificial light and all the technology advancements and this artificial world we're living in these days, all women would generally menstruate at the new moon phase. That means all at the same time. That means that we're all releasing energy and tuning into the same energy and recalibrating ourselves to each other and ourselves and nature and the moon at the same time. Imagine how potent that was. And we have lost a lot of this ancient wisdom and medicine and knowledge around our periods over the last few hundred years. So this immersion aims us to sync us all back up. And the idea is because likely you might be menstruating on the full moon, on the new moon, on the waxing or waning moon, or somewhere in between, and that is totally fine. But how this immersion is running is we are going to orientate ourselves on the moon phases, moving with the moon, starting on a new moon, and so forth, finishing on a full moon. And we're going to instill a yoga practice, breath work, self-care practices, and lifestyle practices accordingly, which are all things we're going to go through in this immersion. So every week, which will be the date of every week, will be in sync with that current moon phase. We will do a yoga therapy practice and pranayama and meditation, and talk about and go through other lifestyle practices and diets and so forth for you to implement for that particular moon phase, for that 1 week that you then take home with you and, do your homework around it, adjust your life accordingly until we come together in the next week for the next moon phase. Again, adjust everything we do and so forth to that moon phase. Take it away, practice it yourself. So we basically check in once a week, once that moon phase, to prep you right. This is the energy we're moving into. This is how we balance with it and sync to it. The idea is, and that is very individual, it might take longer for some women and lesser time for others, depending on your level of, so many factors come in of, let's say, imbalance, right? And where you're at. But the idea is that the more we do that and the longer and more consistently we practice to adjust our lifestyle and how we do things, the manner we do things, and our energy and our diet, our self-care and so forth to the moon phases, the more our periods start to balance, our hormones start to balance, our reproductive system starts to balance, and eventually likely sync back to the moon phases how it was back in the day. I think that is so exciting, and I haven't heard of an immersion like this happening, at least here where we are. And so while this is all knowledge that has been proven for thousands of years and is now also science-backed, women coming together in practice like this and us practicing together this self-care regime together with the cycles is also a really exciting experiment to see where it all takes us on a collective and on an individual level. So if you feel the calling, check out the information below, get in touch. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and flowing with you and moving with the moon. Here is to accessing our full potential. Here is to living fully embodied in this feminine, powerful, beautiful energy that is our birthright as women. And here's to living in ease and flow as we sync to our natural rhythms, to our natural cycles as women, and really authentically thrive in life. Namaste. Reach out if you have any questions at all. I'm always here to connect and chat.